Hey guys, we're in the kitchen cooking. Sue's going to be doing all the cooking this morning. We're making pumpkin rolls because it's that time of year.
Pumpkin rolls!
It's you can make them year round. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, but you seem like you do it in the fall. Everything's pumpkin right now.
That's right.
I seen a video the other day where the outhouse had pumpkin smelling stuff inside it, so the outhouse even smelled like a pumpkin. That don't sound too appetizing though when you're talking about making a good pumpkin roll. But anyway, so we're in here today. We're going to make them up. This is Sue's recipe. Her family's done this for years. And
years and years and
they're,
years.
They're yummy. The only thing we do differently, I like a lot of the cream cheese filling in the middle.
So I double it.
Yeah, for me. She doubles it for me.
I doubles it only for him. So I call these double stuffed pumpkin rolls.
Right, and they're delicious. And actually, the best way they are is after you put them in the freezer and get them out and eat them kind of frozen. That's probably my favorite way to eat them. But you can eat them either way, frozen or not frozen. But they're quite delicious. So this is what we're cooking in the kitchen this morning, making pumpkin rolls.
Good morning. Today we're going to make pumpkin rolls. This is a family recipe that we've had for quite a number of years. My late husband used to make them all the time, and now my daughters and daughter-in-law and granddaughters all make them. So today we're going to make a pumpkin roll. Here's all the ingredients it takes. Here's our jelly roll pan. We spray it to prepare it. We spray it and put the spray on it and the wax paper and spray it again. And so we'll get that prepared first. And then these are all the ingredients it takes. Cinnamon, baking soda, pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie mix, pure pumpkin. 3 eggs, granulated sugar, all-purpose flour, cream cheese, butter, and powdered sugar. So those are all the ingredients. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is prepare the pan. So we spray it with a cooking spray. And then I cover it with, you can use parchment paper or wax paper. We've always just used wax paper because it's what we have on hand. Tear it to about the length of the cookie sheet and lay it on here. The ends will stick out over. You can trim them down if you want. I usually don't. I just kind of fold it down. So it looks complicated to see the prepared sheet, but it's really very easy. So that was it. I just sprayed the pan, laid out the wax paper, and then sprayed it. So now the pan is prepared. So the next step is to prepare the pumpkin pie mix. So just opening up my pumpkin pie filling. Again, this is pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filling. So first thing we're going to do now to start the mix is cream together our 3 eggs and 1 cup of sugar. So I'm going to put the 3 eggs in first. I know some people say don't crack your eggs over top of your pan, but I do. We get a shell in it and we just dig it out. And there's actually a shell. Get it out. Where'd it go? There it is. Did I get it? Yeah. I know how they say to do it. Now I'm adding the sugar. And we're going to blend it then. Cream it. We gotta lock this in. Love my KitchenAid mixer. It's gonna take long to cream them together. That should be good right there. Alright, next it takes 2/3 cup pumpkin. One of these cans usually makes about two pumpkin rolls. I'm making a mess. Okay, next we're going to add 2/3 cup pumpkin. Again, pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie mix. We've one time used the pumpkin pie mix and it just didn't turn out right because the pumpkin pie mix already has sugar and eggs mixed in, and it really just changes the consistency, and it just doesn't come out right. So, set that down there. Lock it, and we'll add the next 4 ingredients. So next we're going to go ahead and cream this in first. So that was our wet ingredient. So let's get that out there. Okay, we've already added our pumpkin, so now we're going to add our baking soda, cinnamon, and flour. So I need 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I always add extra cinnamon, so I'm just going to leave the cinnamon out here because, you know, we like big flavor. I always add extra cinnamon, so it's supposed to be 1/2 teaspoon. Here's a teaspoon. So more flavor, and 1 3/4 cup of flour, and in that goes. Now we're going to blend these. Scrape it now because it doesn't, these KitchenAids do not reach clear to the side, or else it would be banging that metal bowl, making a terrible, terrible racket. Smells good. Let me give it one more scrape. Get my knuckles in it. I'm cleaning off the beater on my mixer here because that's a lot of goodness in there. Now we're going to pour it onto the prepared. As you remember how I prepared that, I sprayed it, the pan, then I added the wax paper, and then I sprayed the wax paper. So that's all prepared. Let's get this poured on here. Your batter's going to be a little bit thick. When we used to make these years ago, we did a production line. We'd do 5 pumpkin rolls at once, so it was quite the production line. We get 2 ready and get them in the oven, then do the next 2. And the first one was ready to come out of the oven, and then we'd put the last one in. And we'd have actually 2 more ready the next time. Alright, spread this around. Looks like it's almost too thin for the pan, but this is the pan we always use. It's like a jelly roll pan. You don't want it too thick because at the end we're going to roll it up.
Where does pans come from?
This pan came from Subway. They used to bake bread on these. My sister-in-law used to work for Subway, and one of them went out of business, and they sold all their equipment. And she got like a bunch of pans, and we bought, I think, 5 of them, 5 or 6, I think 6 of them, for making pumpkin rolls. Now my daughter has 2, my daughter-in-law has 2, and I have 2. So this is what we use them for other things, but this is the main thing we use them for. So they come from Subway. We preheated the oven to 350. I had it sitting there to get it warm, and I put the rack in the middle, so it's neither too high or too low. So now we're going to put this in, I believe, for 15 minutes. See, it just fits in the oven in the center rack. Okay, I've got the pumpkin roll in the oven. The recipe says to cook it at 350 for 15 minutes. I always undercook it, so I set my timer for 10 minutes. 15 minutes, sometimes it gets too overdone and almost burnt, but on the same hand, you don't want it to be undercooked. I did undercook it one time, and when I took it out, the dough was almost still wet in the middle. You don't want that. You just want it to be lightly brown, so I'll check it at 10 minutes and see if it's done. It's been about 10.5 minutes. We're going to check this pumpkin roll now. I'll pull it out. Oh, it looks done to me. I can see it's slightly browned on the edges. Pull this in. Yep, it's done. Yep, that pumpkin roll is done. Keep looking at it. You can see when I set it down, the edges are slightly browned. And it looks a golden brown color. So I'm calling that pumpkin roll done. Okay, the pumpkin roll's done. Now we've got to prepare it to cool. First thing I do is dust the top with powdered sugar. It just gives a little sweetness, and it helps it not to stick to the stick together when it's rolled up and taken back out after it's cooled. So if you have one of those sifters that you can shake it on, it's better to do that. I used to have one, I don't anymore. Next step is you take a dust-free towel. These are dish towels I got at Kmart years and years ago. I got like a dozen of them, and everybody's got some. Just as long as there's no lint on, lint-free towel, excuse me, not dust-free, lint-free. There's no fuzzies on here to get stuck on it. So I'm going to cover it. I'm going to turn it towards me. Get it off of here. I'm going to invert it onto the counter here, onto this roll. So I'll get a hold of it, and it's still warm, so get your towel tucked down a little bit. Grab it from underneath, and ouch, it's hot. Give it a flip. And then, now it's hot, so be careful when you lift. Then you take the pan off of it, and it should come out if you try. There, see? There it is. Set this aside. See how nice and golden that is? What we do next is we leave this wax paper on it, and we roll it up. And this is where the roll comes from. That's why you don't want it overdone, because if it's too overdone, it's not going to roll very good. See, you're kind of tucking and rolling. Let me get this all rolled up. See, now it's rolled up. I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator to cool for 30 minutes, because we want it cooled before we ice it here. I gotta find a spot. I'm not sure there's a spot in there. I gotta find a spot. I found a spot. I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator here for 30 minutes to cool down. Alright, there. Alright. There, it's in there. Set it down. Timer. There we go. 30 minutes to start cooling that puppy down. Okay, we got the cooled pumpkin roll out of the refrigerator. Now we're going to unroll it and prepare it, and then make the icing for it. So all you do is just run and roll it. It's real easy. And then when we peel back the wax, it's already half off anyway, so just peel back the wax paper. Try not to tear your pumpkin, your roll there. Usually peels real easy. The corners are the hardest part. And it's not really hard at all. This little section, there we go. And we discard this. So now I'm going to let it sit here until we make the icing in. And here's the ingredients for the icing I'm going to put in. Now, this is what you call the double stuff. Normally, in a normal recipe for a pumpkin roll, I just use 1 pack of cream cheese, a half a stick of butter, and 1 cup of powdered sugar. You mix that up and you put it on here and ice it. But Bob likes double icing, so I'm going to use 2 packs of cream cheese, the entire stick of butter, and 2 cups of powdered sugar. So I'm going to get that ready and start mixing it up.
Yeah, sometimes I have to have Sue modified recipes. I have my own way of cooking, and usually it's not by recipes. It's by how I like to cook it or how I like to eat it. And the only thing I've changed in these whole things is just like I want more icing. It's kind of like a cake. When you get a cake, it's all about the icing, not about the cake, in the way I like it. So Sue accommodates me by double stuffing it, so I appreciate that.
Double stuffed pumpkin rolls.
Now Cassie always monitors all the cooking just in case something falls on the floor. She makes sure she retrieves every bit of it. That's her little extra treats.
She's not a poodle, she's a retriever.
She's a retriever.
Okay, I've already got 1 cup of powdered sugar in. I'm going to go ahead and put in the 2nd cup. So now there's my 2 cups of powdered sugar. 1 stick of butter. And 2 packs of cream cheese. 1 and 2. You can use the, we don't use Kraft. You can use the knockout, there's another brand, Great Value brand. But make sure you get the regular cream cheese, not the new Facto, which is the fat-free. Nothing about this says diet, so don't waste your time on trying to make it lighter by using something less than full-fat cream cheese and butter.
Fat-free means taste-free.
So now we're going to cream this, so I'll lock it, and then start it real slow because there's a lot of powdered sugar in there. Let it kind of wet up, get the ingredients a little wet before we kick it up. Before we kick it up a notch. Smells good. It smells lemony. There's no lemon in here, but something about the cream cheese and the butter makes it smell lemony. Okay, I'm going to stir it now. Scraping down the sides here. Oh, taste test.
It's approved.
Bob approved. Got most of the icing off of here, but as you can see, there's still a lot left on the beaters, and only the good kids get to eat the beaters, Bob. Bob's the good kid today. Don't get your tongue on. Get Cassie in there. Oh. You don't think they're not lucky dogs?
Everybody gets to lick the beater.
Let her get in there with you. That's crushing. There you go. That's funny. Okay, here's the frosting. Again, double stuffed frosting because usually there's not that much, but next is just to load it on the pumpkin roll and spread it out. This icing is so good. This is like a deluxe cream cheese frosting. Powdered sugar, butter, and cream cheese. So you could use this to ice any cake or cookies or whatever. And believe me, they would go very fast. Look at all that icing. So you don't want to take it clear out to the edge because it will ooze out the edge when you roll it up. So you take it almost to the edge. Try and spread it evenly. And as you can see, there's a lot of frosting. If you don't double, I actually like it doubled like this. Because otherwise, it just doesn't seem like there's enough frosting. Even looking at it. Of course, when it's all rolled up, there's more. Okay, so now the pumpkin roll is iced, and I'm getting ready to roll it up. So as you can see, we'll just roll it back up again the way it was before. You can see the powdered sugar that I dusted on the top is now there. It prevented it from sticking to the towel, and that's what we want. So the last step is to wrap it in Reynolds wrappers or aluminum foil, whatever. It doesn't have to be Reynolds wrap, but oh, shoot, you don't want it to fall out like that and cut yourself. But you want it to be longer than your roll. And you tear it out. So you tear it off, you let it down. And here's where I dust a little bit of powdered sugar again on the Reynolds wrap, the aluminum foil. Again, to try and keep it from sticking, because it will stick to your foil. So then we roll this onto the aluminum foil, and then just roll it up into the foil. Get it down a little bit farther, a little bit farther on here, so I have a nice even amount. Just keep rolling. Get this out of the way then. And then for the ends, so there it's all rolled up. Now the ends, I take and twist. So it looks like a little big old sausage here.
I think it looks like a huge marijuana joint.
Big old doobie.
Big old doobie.
There
A
we
sweet
go.
doobie.
A sweet doobie, yeah. You're going to want to eat this after you have your doobie. Okay, then we put it in the freezer to freeze. Some people you can eat it right now, slice it up, and it'd be very creamy and delicious, but like Bob said earlier, we like it frozen. It doesn't have to be super hard. The cake won't be super hard, but when it comes out, it's like almost like ice cream in the middle of a roll. Okay, now we're going to put it in the freezer till it's frozen, at least several hours. I know Bob won't be able to wait that long, but I've got it up here in my freezer. Find a flat surface in your freezer to put it in and let it chill until frozen. Usually a good couple hours. And then you take it out and slice it up and enjoy, and we'll see that after a bit. Okay, now we've got the pumpkin roll in the freezer. It's going to cool down probably a good 2 hours, and hopefully we'll enjoy it later.
I can't wait.
I know you can't wait. You could have some now, but it's better
I'll wait till it gets
cut it
frozen
when
a
it's
little
frozen. And it's easier to cut that way, because if you were to cut it now, it would all smush and all the stuff would come out, and you don't want that.
Well, hey, I hope that's helped you guys out. Maybe you want to make some pumpkin rolls for the holidays. You can make this any time of the year, but you know, it seems like the holidays is when you tend to make them more, you know. So if you enjoyed this video of pumpkin rolls, give us a thumbs up. And hey, if you're not one of our subscribers, I invite you to smash on the subscribe button. And,
the like button.
The like button. We have other cooking videos, but today was Sue's version of the pumpkin rolls. So we'll see everybody the next time.
Well,
happy eating.
Yep. I would say one thing we used to do with these, we made them at Christmas time, and we would take them around to all of our neighbors. We'd put a little bow around it, and then we'd take it to each of the neighbors. And at one point, there was one neighbor that had just moved into the neighborhood. We hadn't even met him yet. So my daughter and I showed up at their house and knocked on their door. They had no idea who we were, and here we had a pumpkin roll. She said that's one of her endearing memories of us meeting them and coming with a pumpkin roll in hand. So
it was the great pumpkin roll, Charlie Brown.
That's right.